what it is.
Oh, now you got Santa Claus giggling, man. Oh, and Mrs. Claus, look at her. Oh, goodness gracious. She's styling, man. No wonder she wants to stay in the background. Nobody, I mean nobody, especially little kids' mothers, could stand this chick in their presence, man. I'm telling you. Mrs. Claus is too hot for a Coca-Cola commercial. Let's put it that way. Now that's pretty dang hot. I mean, she's not exactly quite as sufficient as this other hot chick we know of that is kind of like the manipulator of the great light and the keeper of the great heart and the song of everybody's heart and stuff like that. But dang close. In fact, they might be twin sisters or something along those lines. Soul sisters at the very least are intertwined in the threads of life somehow like that. Of course, you know, those threads all had a singular thread to begin with, and that came from the mother, the mother love that, Santa Claus carries in his sack these days, and Mrs. Claus helps him along, I'm telling you. You won't believe the look or the expression on his papal presence as, Santa Claus and his 9 tiny reindeer and Mrs. Claus too coming out of the closet now, babies. Wow! And how? I mean, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Here comes Santa Claus, don't you know, and his tiny little sleigh filled up with all kinds of goodies, revelations of divine treasure and human wealth. The stores and treasures of the stories of the happy human heart and how it got through all this shit as a living work of art. Now, you're going to be sure and tune in here on Christmas Day. We got a party underway here on the Coyote Medicine Show in the Coyote way, of course. Just like we do every day, Monday through Friday here, but it's a holiday, so we got to do something a little extra special. So we'll get a few of you online, a few others too. We may, hell, go see if we can dig up a couple old rock stars, talk to them a little bit, shit like that, And then, man, have a party by the campfire just like we do every day here in that Coyote way. And deep down in our little socks, we'll see if we can't dig up a orange or two or something like that that's really special for the holiday, okay? Oh, I gotcha. Little rum and cola would help it along the way. Why do you think we're playing all them Coca-Cola commercials, man? It's not just out of human well, it is too. It's satirically so, babies. But, ooh, it's all rock, it's all roll. It's all music to your melodic little soul now, ain't it, babies? I see you shaking. I see you moving out there, all of you. Party girl, G-Room, Robbie, Barrowman's Beth, I hear you call. And all of you guys out there, man. Shit, yeah. That's only a few at the center. Muscularity of the little bud. That's our whole family that tunes in too, man. Some vicariously through other internet networks that not everybody knows about just yet. But boy, the more you get in this flow, the more you're going to know of that. See, we so step beyond this reality, it's hard to stay in it sometimes. But, and here's the big proviso, God. We're anchored in this little human form. We got to keep our roots, you see. We don't go flying off into the galaxies and stars without we blossom into them. And then it all kind of like caves in on you, and it just doesn't exist in a spatial way any longer. And there's no great measurement of time then either. The presence of love is in its divine harmonic state and doesn't perceive itself as separate any longer. See, that's a Merry Christmas and a ho-ho-ho. That's the holiday music that we share with you here, don't you know? And it takes a lot of giving up. Especially of that survival instinct that seems so basic in all of us. And it's really not giving it up. It's acknowledging it, no matter how savage or unsavage it may have been. It's acknowledging that and moving on with it. Taking it with you steady as you go, but not performing it in that way anymore, because you know better. Inside your heart is a full and complete person who's an aspect of creation. This is a shared experience like, well, the hugest group lovemaking you could conceive of. It's all life totally and completely in love with itself and experiencing the joy of that love in every moment, every movement of its precious beings that are experiencing one another in the triality of that universal love, which is the singularity of life celebrating itself in the dancing sort of way. Why do you think we like to party and play so much? It's a suggestion of our reality, our truthful reality, the one in which we create creation. By being so in love with all of it that we don't experience it as a vastness any longer, but as an extension of our own spatial heart, our own spatial reality, a part of our person, that magical sphere of love that exists around us, man. That's our aspect of creation. That's what makes it personal and real. And that's why you can share it so greatly. When you're conscious in that presence, you see how divinely interconnected we all are. And above all that, you see who your real family is. Those cells and atoms and EVs that are close to you there, man. You know, in that little center part of your heart, man, you know. And you quite naturally draw them to you, to yourself, energetically. You might find them on Facebook. You might find them through the chat room here on the Coyote Medicine Show. You might already know them for many years now, but it just starts to become all too apparent, you see. Whatever level is at is not the level it's going to be. The level is the reality and your association with it, which is far more than an association. Do you still think of yourself as an isolated presence? Can you possibly conceive of yourself as an alone little thing in the midst of all of this grand creation around us? I mean, if you do, no wonder you feel like a piece of dirt and have become an alcoholic and have to compensate by finding a greater good outside yourself. No wonder. But see, you just saw through that, you know, in a heartbeat, man. You don't have to live that way. You're not guilty. It's not your fault. You're playing a role, baby. And if you look at it honestly, I mean, in your own heart, in your own presence, take that internal journey for a moment so you can experience the external, which is internal, externally. No wonder we're alcoholics, don't you see? I would be too, except I just can't do that much. It just slays me, man. You know, I have to keep my usage kind of minimal unless I'm really partying. Then I can sweat it out pretty fast, you know. But oh, goodness gracious! So you gotta have this. You see the magic in life, then you can indulge in any part of it in some way, not anything harmful. Let's put it that way, but like, you know, stuff that normally would be taboos because of their addictive qualities or whatever, you know, depressive qualities, especially in alcohol's cases, and sometimes the violent behavior it creates. Whew. We've all experienced a moment or two of that, I tell you, one way or another. Shit. Well, you know, it's just a moderate thing, but it's really not even about moderation. It's about appreciating, you know, the blessing of whatever it is you're indulging yourself in and the release that it gives you. Release to be what? Real. Not something that you have to pretend to be, but real. Not something you have to imagine yourself to be, but real, because your heart imagines you are that person. The greater creative love flowing through this divine physical presence. Now are you willing to take a whole lot better care of it than you have before? It doesn't take cosmetics and creams and, you know, soaps and toothbrushes and stuff, though that's all a little of it. But, you know, it doesn't take all that. What does it take? Treating yourself with respect from the marrow of your bones, from the inner parts of yourself outward, to graciously love what you already are and embrace it. And become it. And if it needs to change any, by golly, it will. And I reckon we're all going to lighten up a whole bunch here as this process goes along. I reckon the earth don't want to hold us down so hard anymore. But the density really, really needs to lighten up anyway, you know, so it can get out of this archaic caveman way of being. We're far too sophisticated with our weaponry. You know, the Billy Club has become, you know, nuclear war number 3. And it's like, no, we're not doing that, baby. Our heart says otherwise. Listen to your heart. Go with the flow. Understand your feeling. You know it's better than that. You know the outcome is far better than that. You know there doesn't have to be any tidal wave here other than love. That's the tsunami of the heart. And that's happening already. That's all we need, babies. Armageddon's come and gone. Now we're getting it on. See, the Armageddon's in the heart. It's the final end of battle. There is no war. There ain't no 2 ravenous wolves or more inside duking it out for the scraps of life. That's not cosmic, baby. kind of primal, kind of fun when you're doing it, but you know, who wants to be an ornery old ogre all the time and have to fight for every little speck you get? Screw that. We've done enough of that, ain't we? See? Now, how do you satisfy that ravenous hunger so you never have to act like that again? How do you become essentially peaceful and, well, by developing that reality right in the here and now. You know, you don't have to be the ravenous wolf anymore. You don't have to be alone. You're not. You can't be. The wolf never is alone. That's its message to us as humanity. Look past your illusions. Feel the empty heart in your wolf-like nature. The coyote nature too, cousin. Feel that great emptiness that arises as a hunger that can only be satisfied through war and viciousness. It has to work for its turf and protect and defend it. Shit like that. You see? Isn't that the actions of a very defensive person that feels like it can be destroyed by the reality around it and therefore gives that destruction validation? When you respond to it, you become it. That's the lesson of the US of A here. In every way. It's also seen the deeper levels at which cruelty operates. So a lot of truth that wasn't present here a few days ago is present now. And a lot more to go. I mean, in the physical, expansive reality around us, there's revelations of how insane this whole thing has been. And you'll never trust a leader again, ever. You don't need them. That's what the message is as this truth unravels. Governments, leaders, dictatorial beings of any sort, kings, princes, queens, I'm sorry, babies, but we don't need that. Not in the sense that this royalty is brave enough to rise up and rule over us and tell us how it's going to be. And then force that upon us through, some kind of militaristic thing, which involves violence and fear. This is the arousal of a heart that's clear. And it knows it's the royalty of the universe. It feels that. It takes its presence there quite naturally. And that's everyone under the human sun. Everyone that lives in the human heart. Clones and otherwise, baby. You can't breed it away. Humanity is one mother. One love. Our Mother Earth in motion. Our Father Sky. With her in completion. Do you see any separation between them? Not yet. Though some have thought to blow our atmosphere away. Or burn it away. I mean, there's been some real cruelty practiced here. Some real insane thoughts. But see, there's the reasonableness of the heart at the root of it all. Again, that mother love. And I'm telling you, babies, it never, no matter how bad it got, it never let us go too far. We're not about to pull the final trigger. Not ever. We've done that a few times before. Maybe you have some conscious memories of that. Maybe that's what makes you fear it so greatly in the times and now. Because all the signs in the outer are saying this is going to happen again. All the signs on the inner, looking at the outer and all the divine revelations going on there says, wow, it's come undone. It can't happen anymore. It lost its steam. It lost its momentum quite some time ago. It saw through itself. It knew how voraciously greedy and empty it was, like the vastness of space that it perceived itself to be in. And then it began to find itself filled with an ever-present love. Divine is the only way to describe it. It's a nature, a natural thing, a glow, a rhythmic thing too. There's a harmony in it, babies. It's really personal, really beautiful. You stand under the mistletoe with this Santa Claus heart of yours. You know what it is to embrace life and be life. These are from the quietest and sweetest moments. That's the real sharing of Christmas and the 4th of July and all the rest of the holidays. Is that one moment of embrace when we can really embrace life and live it. Then it's happy to celebrate it. Party time's on. But see, the party starts right there. Begins and ends there, really. That embrace. Where we see no longer the aspects of separation. Though we live beautifully in two different spheres of influence that really are the center of creation and creation itself, expanding around us in our perception. It becomes a shared creation then, which is unified. And no longer sees itself as divided from anything. We go back through the mother love to the original mother heart, and we express ourselves outwardly from there, experientially, in this deep feeling way, which was amplified, yes, by the exposure to our own darkness, pain, separation. See, we can't live it that way anymore. We experience it at a different level. And we rise up from there until we see there are no levels. That life is served undivided. You talk about peace, there it is. All tribes and nations unified, all these seeming divisions just melt away. You start to feel this golden glow in you. You see it in the world around you, and the unreal dissolves into the real. Just hold to it and never let it go. Be reconceived in that notion. Know your power in this creation. Don't be afraid then to be it, to feel it, and let yourself refine it in the heartfelt way. See, your mind says, don't trust it, don't trust it, don't trust it. Your heart says, not a thing. It just keeps smiling and growing and gets its flow on. No matter how badly you try to restrict it now, you don't want to restrict it. You want to amplify it. You want to be stepping forward in the full presence of your real heart, because you've never done this before. You've never let yourself do this. Yeah, you've let parts of it out beautifully so, and thank you, myself included. Now we just step in to the full experience of that presence. Whatever stage it may be in, right now, this is it. We allow it to be. We allow ourselves to feel it. Merry Christmas and a ho 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 and Happy Hanukkah and Buddha dance too, babies. How about that? Celebrate inside first and foremost. Experience the reality of the ever-present heart unified in life. And you'll never feel separate from anything again, and no one can hurt you, no one can wound you now, because you're not serving in a state of need. You're in a state of sharing and caring, compassionate expression of the sweet forms of love, given as they will be without requirement or restriction. A flowing love that knows no beginning or no end, and only constant, expansive, living love in motion. Beautifully so. It loves its experience. That's why it likes to feel. Especially in the flesh. That's the root that makes it real. And again, gives blossom to the flower inside that you're beginning to feel. It's like the sun and the mother have united in the flower. That's what the flowerful form expresses. That's why we so love Mary J. She's a flower. The blossom of our very own life. Metaphorically. Given in a reality, a presence of truth that you live in right in the here and now. You don't have to wait around for. Just be. And we are free. Grandpa loves you, ho, 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 and away we go. A little more wild medicine. But them 8 tiny reindeer and the 9th one too, the one with the red nose, still knows what to do, man. Come out of the fog, baby. See the great light inside. Take the clear ride. Here on the Hazy Radio Network, each and every day, Monday through Friday, with Grandpa Coyote. And the rest of the Coyote gang too, man. Ooh, I love this Vibe Tribe crew, man. You guys just rock. Our hearts so resonate together. I love you for it. Thank you again, babies. You just add rhythm to my rock and roll. Music to my heart and soul. I love it, don't you know?